Hey everybody, I am Kim.
Hey, I'm Steve.
This is Thompsons Reading. This is our fourth episode of our BookTube series, and we're here today. We have a couple of things to share with you, some interesting things, and we're going to get started by just talking about a few different books, and I'm going to kick it over to Steve and let him get started.
Hey, so happy Father's Day, everybody. This is our Father's Day edition, or we're shooting this on Father's Day, but I've got my traditional Father's Day shirt that Kim and Jordan and I always buy for me, and a Father's Day mug. Now, they got this several years ago, but this is a Star Wars Father's Day mug. They kind of like, my pop culture geekdom. So anyway, I finished a book. Okay, I've really been trying hard to finish books on top of writing my dissertation, but I got through Mind of My Mind, which by Octavia Butler, which is really a fascinating read. And I did not know that this was part of a series. So Kim is actually reading the first book, The Wild Seed, and I actually read the third book, Clay's Ark, which doesn't seem like it's connected at all when I read Clay's Ark. And then Kim has the fourth book, The Patternist. So I know I have a copy of Clay's Ark back at my job, my bookshelf, I believe. So I have to go back and get Clay's Ark and try to find out the connection. But there is so much social commentary. Octavia Butler is a brilliant woman. Mm-hmm. The way that she paces, the way that she world builds, and just her creativity is really unmatched. So really inspiring read, Mind of My Mind, and a phenomenal read by Octavia Butler.
Yeah, I'm excited. I already actually finished Wild Seed, and so I will start on this one. In my June TBR was the other book, and I discovered that it is actually the last book of the series. And so now, FYI, if you have Audible, the very first book in the series, which is The Wild Seed, that's book one, Wild Seed, it's actually a part of your subscription. You don't have to pay or you don't have to use a credit. So highly recommend if you have Audible and you are interested in trying out some Octavia Butler, go ahead and do that. So I'll be picking this one up because I started the fourth book and realized that I probably should read the first one first and just figure out what's the through line on all four of them because they are a series. And so, thoroughly enjoying her so far. So very exciting. All right. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to talk about, so this is what I'm talking about. This episode is all of my, audiobooks that I have done. As I have mentioned, I did discover that, if you have Kindle Unlimited, some of the books also have the Audible version connected to it. So, I mean, that was like, for me, that was a great discovery because I like to listen to books on my commute. I've never been someone who just listened to me. Well, sometimes I do. I do sometimes listen to music. Most of the time I was listening to podcasts, but I also love listening to books. I don't have a really long commute, but that's pretty much what I save my my audiobooks for. So I have read 4 of the same author. I've listened to 4 of the same author, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about the first one. The first 2 I want to mention. Let me tell you the author's name. Sorry, I'm just a mess here. Hold on, I should have had it pulled up. So the author's name is Amanda Prowse. She is an English author. In general, she's reading her books, and so they have been so enjoyable. She is they call her the queen of the family drama. So each book is about a family and whatever's going on in that family, and I just have I really enjoy hearing her read her books. And so if I will say, if any of my crochet friends are here, Caroline, I want to tell you because I read the flat share because of you, and I want to say if you like the flat share, you would really like listening to Amanda Prowse. So the first one that I wanted to talk about, this one is called Very, Very Lucky. And let me show you guys, Very, Very Lucky by Amanda Prowse. This one is about a woman who is a very busy mom, a working mom, and she is just frazzled because she's got kids, she's trying to keep a house, and she's falling short everywhere and just really feeling like she's falling short. And then the male lead character is an older gentleman who is at a point in his life where he's not really sure why he's still living. And their paths cross, and they end up having an impact on each other that really just changes the trajectory of both of their lives and both of their families. And so that one is super good. I highly recommend Very, Very Lucky. And then I went from there to another one called All Good Things. And this one is about, again, two families living right next door to each other. One family is totally put together. They have family events. Everybody is happy. And then the family and their house is beautiful. Everything is perfect. The garden is perfect. All of that. The other family is just a little bit shabby, you know, and there's a teenage girl who looks out her window at the other house and just really wishes that she's a part of the other family because her family is actually going through turmoil. Mom is basically clinically depressed and barely gets out of the bed. And so dad is trying to hold up everything. The two teenagers are just trying to continue to live. But that's what you see on the surface. And I recommend reading this book because everything is not what it seems with these two families. And so that's, it's also a very good read, very good listen, quite enjoyable. And those are the two books that I wanted to share about.
All right. So for me, I'm a library junkie. So kind of the theme throughout this episode, at least for me and later on, is just my love for the library. And I'm a library geek. So I got a library card. I've always had a library card from the Los Angeles Public Library. When I first moved here, I got a county library card, but then I became a fugitive in the county. I think, I had a car that broke down, and the car got towed away, and then I had books in there. So I've always been afraid of getting a library card because all those books vanished. So I decided I want to get a county library card because they do have some nice county libraries. So I filled out a card online, and then I got my virtual card. Then I went into the library to flip it into a physical card, and I got really nervous, but they gave me the card. So I decided I wanted to read something short so I could finish it, but also some classic literature. So I got The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. It is a very thin book. It's a short story. I probably will have this finished by the time we talk again. And it is a library pickup. So really enjoy reading H.G. Wells. Also, as a writer, I like to see how these writers execute on the page, and then how can I incorporate it into my writing. So this is a classic book. I've always heard about The Time Machine, but I've never actually read The Time Machine. So it's good to go back and read old authors. And one of the things I enjoy about reading authors is you see what stands up over the test of time. And you see that there are common themes and common concepts and kind of human dilemma and struggle that we all face. Technology is different, but humanity and the way it interacts with the world is the same. And it's good to see those things definitely play out over time. So, hey, get out there and read classic literature. It's classic for a reason.
Let me see it. Look, very exciting, very thin. Let's see how many pages. I mean, it's not even 100 pages, guys. This is something that I might even try to get under my belt because, H.G. Wells, I do have some of this type of thing coming up, and I like the fact that they're so thin that you can actually get through them. So, thanks for sharing that. I realized that I thought I had 4 books, but I think I only have 2 because I only had 3. So I'm going to go run through this next one. And I only had 3. This is, again, an Amanda Prowse book, and it is called, it's called Waiting to Begin. Can y'all see that? It's a little bit blown out. There you go. Amanda Prowse, Waiting to Begin. Now, this one, another family drama. This main character is someone who was so excited as she was turning 16 and looking forward to the life goals and plans that she had set for herself. But she made a mistake. She made a mistake right before her 16th birthday. Everything blew up on her 16th birthday, and the rest of her life is sort of colored by that mistake that she made when she was 16 years old. And so this is really a book about this woman's journey to healing, to forgiving herself, and really healing her family, because all of this that happened to her when she was 16 impacts her how she interacts with the world, including her sibling, as well as her husband and her kids. And so I thoroughly recommend this author. And if you have Audible, or if you have Kindle Unlimited, I would say get into this. These are I'm like gobbling these books up. For today, I'm only going to talk about this one author. This is my author spotlight, but I have read and listened to, I should say, several, and really have enjoyed them. So those are my books for this episode.
All right, and for me, so my third book, I am a reader. I don't niche down into certain things and only read a certain type of book. When I was growing up, I loved reading Stephen King books, but I also started reading like these Sweet Valley High books, because I saw girls would read these books all the time, and I'd be wondering, well, what's going on in these books? So I will always pick something different. I will just read to read. I'm not the person who just goes in there and looks at the cover and then, picks the book because of that. I just will wander the library and pick things. So LA County is having the county's largest book club. So they have this book called LA Weather, and if you go to the library, they have physical copies, and then they have unlimited either audiobooks or e-version copies of the book. So I said, well, why not? Let me join the book club. So the great thing about the library is they have the Libby app, and the Libby app will automatically send the ebook to your Kindle. So I have my Kindle, the Paperwhite. Now, the Paperwhite isn't pretty, okay, and it's a little bit clunky. But the positive thing about it is when you read on it, you don't get notifications from your cell phone, and you can also read it outside.
Good point.
So you can't, your iPhone, your iPad, it is very difficult to read outside. I don't like to keep my phone in the room with me at night, so this is perfect. It's perfect to read. So LA Weather is, the comp would be if you ever saw the movie Tortilla Soup, about a Latino family in the 90s in LA. This is set in the 2000s, and it is a Latino family. There's a mother and a father and 3 very successful daughters. Yes, okay. Yes, about 3 daughters, and I almost put the book down because I cannot deal with tragedies with children, so trigger warning, but the kids were okay, so I didn't stop reading the book, but it is a really good book that unfolds over time. They are going to have some events in LA with this book, but we're actually going to be in Chicago when they have the final celebration at Grand Park in LA, and they're going to have author talks and a big party to celebrate the end of the book club. We'll be traveling at that time, but just reading along has been really fun. And again, just the process, getting it through the Libby app, going to my Kindle, it's just a lot of fun. So and the shared experience of being in a book club, not a book I would have read, but I'm like, hey, what the heck? Let's just participate and have fun. So I think you learn these ways by kind of, doing that, trying new experiences.
So I just read, I pulled it up on Goodreads, and this happens to be a Reese Witherspoon book club pick. Now, I am not a person who I actually get turned off by that, but sometimes I have stumbled upon really good books, and if I had let my prejudice against picking, like, I really don't like, forgive me, but I don't like reading books that are from Oprah's book club, and not because I don't like Oprah. I think Oprah's great, but they all seem to have like somebody dying. And so even though I end up reading those types of books, it's just like I don't want to all back then specifically I was a Debbie Macomber fan. I read them voraciously. I was not somebody who read like deep books where that dealt with deep intense themes. I have changed because everything I read now is pretty much dealing with intense themes. There are some things that are I've just changed, and you do change, you do evolve over time in your taste. Anyway, so I just thought that was interesting because I also now have that same thing. Like I don't want to read a book that just because Reese Witherspoon recommended it. Now, one of my favorite books of the year, one of my 5-star reads, happens to have been The Covenant of Water, which is definitely a Oprah pick. I didn't know that when we picked it, but good thing I didn't. I would have went in a little bit prejudiced. So I thoroughly enjoyed that book. But anyway.
I didn't even know that was a Reese Witherspoon book.
Yeah.
And I hope nobody dies because I get attached to, I can handle death in like fiction unless I'm attached to a character. But in like real books, that's like real life, I get angst, I get anxiety, I get sad, I get depressed, and it treats me a different way. So I hope no one dies. Maybe somebody does.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the other thing that we're doing this summer is, again, library, is the summer reading program. So I signed our family up for the summer reading at the LA Library. And what's really fun is you get a tote bag, you get a game card, and then you also get some swag. Where's our little swag at? Yeah, I thought I brought the swag with me. But anyway, we have some swag. Oh, here it is. So we got little ducks, and then I got a shark for our son. So the fun thing about this is they have activities. You've got 10 squares on your card, and then there are books, but then there's also activities. So for example, go to visit the Octavia Butler Lab at the LA Library. Make a TikTok or Instagram story about our book haul. We could put that down because you're going to see our book haul.
Yeah.
And then there also is specific book suggestions. So reading a local author, read a BIPOC author, read an LGBTQI plus author, biography. So, and the great thing too is, I'm a techie person, is that they have an app called Beanstack. And you go on Beanstack and you can track your books that you're reading. So you see I have The Time Machine, Mind of My Mind, and LA Weather are on there. And then when you go to read, you log and it starts a timer. And then when you're done reading, you hit the timer again and you can see how long you've read, and it will add up all the minutes that you have read throughout the summer reading challenge. So this is really fun if you like technology or if you like the physical. I'm kind of hybrid, a little bit of both. I like my physical game card. The only thing is I'm bad with paper, right? I hope I don't lose this. At least in the app, I know that I won't lose it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but this is going to be fun. I've got 3 filled in. Really, Octavia Butler gave me 3. You completed the book, an LA author, and then a BIPOC author. So I've got 3 squares just with Octavia Butler. At the end of the summer, you go back to the library, you turn this in, you get a prize, and they also have a raffle. So looking forward to doing that. And this is the fun thing to do over the summer.
Yeah, so all 3 of us are going to participate. You can simply fill in all the squares by just doing 1 hour of reading. But I just filled in 1 so far for the 1 hour of reading. But my current read that we'll talk about later actually checks a lot of boxes. I'm currently reading Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. It has people of color are the main characters. The author is a person of color, so that qualifies. And I'll fill them in when I finish the book. And there are there's LGBTQIA plus representation in this book. So this book right here will check 3 boxes if I want it to. We'll see, but I won't check any of them until I'm finished. But I'm excited about it. He signed us all up, guys, and our son, he's going to be a participant. And one of the things we had already decided to do as a family was have a family book club, because there are so many things that I'm learning now as an adult that I kind of wish that I had known when I was younger. And so You know how you want to try to give them some things that you wish you had. So I wanted to try and read something that would kind of have him, and he actually is, I mean, he doesn't necessarily like reading, but when he gets the information, he is receptive and he allows that information. He doesn't bunt it back. So far he's 15, so let's hope that that remains. But we're going to be reading Make Your Bed. It is called, it's by Admiral William H. McRaven. He is a U.S. Navy retired admiral, and he wrote this book based on a speech he gave, and it's called Make Your Bed, Little Things That Can Change Your Life and Maybe the World. And we just look for something quite short and that he might be able to relate to. And so we'll let y'all know how that goes, because that's going to be a part of our summer reading plan for him as well. So, but yeah, that is it for that.
Yeah, so before we go into our haul video, I want to talk about this really cool concept. Do some of you out there love to buy books, and then those books you never get around to reading them? Well, sometimes I do that a lot, and then I feel ashamed because I can't read all the books, and sometimes I just look at my books and I just want to read all of them at once. Like the one scene in like The Matrix where like Morpheus is able to download all the information into Neo's head. That's sometimes I think with my books. Then I feel guilty, but I came across this Japanese term called sundoku. And sundoku means that this term in the 1800s of collecting books and keeping them. And maybe you read them and maybe you don't read them. But the idea is that you can always go back to joy. It's not shaming yourself because you have clutter, but it looks like these unpurchased books are, you bought them because you were happy or you connected with reading and you had a purpose, and maybe that purpose isn't fulfilled when you bought it, but those unpiled books, you can go back to them and connect with the joy that you had when you purchased them, and they're always there. So that is a great reframe, because I look at my pile of books and I don't want to get rid of any of them at all. I want to keep all of them. And now I can think, hey, I can go back to joy and the joy of these books. So if you are a book buyer, and it was so great at the book sale yesterday, just seeing so many people there. I counted, there were like 40 people in this little small space buying books. Every book was for $1. Despite what they tell you on TV, people are reading. People love reading, and I believe people will always love reading. People have been reading for centuries, okay? So people have not been watching television barely 100 years, right? Not even 100 years we've been watching TV. So it is not, reading has dominance. And I believe it will continue to dominate. We love reading. You love reading. We will always be readers. So there you go. Sundoku, remember that term. Don't be ashamed. Go back to joy.
And keep buying those books. Now, I read that article too that Steve shared it with me, and I really like the idea of it, because the article also talked about that all of these books that you have, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, it's also the potential to gain that knowledge is always there. And I just love that concept. I'm trying to figure out how to reframe it with all the yarn that I have. Those of you who are here from my yarning channel, which will be linked down below, all of our socials will be linked in the description box, so you can come over and visit me over there if you're not already one of my people from over there. But I just love this idea that you have all of this potential. A lot of these books that are behind me are the books that some of them I've read. Some of them are the books that we got from yesterday, and we're going to roll that footage here in a second. We're going to sign off here, and I'm going to read a quote from that article that I thought was fantastic, and then we will sign off, and you'll get to enjoy our footage from going to the book sale. So this says, many other studies have shown reading habits relay a bevy of benefits. They suggest reading can reduce stress, satisfy social connection needs, bolster social skills and empathy, and boost certain cognitive skills. And that is just fiction. Reading nonfiction is correlated with success and high achievement, helps us better understand ourselves and the world, and gives you the edge come trivia night. So, keep reading, keep buying books, and keep watching. Please like, subscribe, and share if you like what you see here. And thank you for joining us, and we will see you in the next video.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Enjoy.
Happy reading.
Everybody, we just got back from the library book sale that went on today. We got here early because we have a full day, but all the books were $1. So I had thought I would just challenge myself to spend $10, even though I had 20. And I thought it was going to be hard, but then when I saw all the books were $1, I knew that wasn't gonna be a problem. So we're gonna show you what we got. You want to start with your
Yeah, so like I got my Trader Joe's bag, so I just went through and I got this one's called Extraordinary Popular Delusions. It's about crowd control and madness. Then I also got this one. This is The Great Ones by Jim Murray. He is a famous sports writer in California, Los Angeles specifically. Passed away many years ago, but he's a Hall of Fame sports writer. I got Borderless because I wanted to read a book about a BIPOC woman author. So just got that one. I also got Wicked because I've never actually seen Wicked. I've only heard the story. I know the movie's coming out and the book was just right there, so I picked it up. Then I got this one, Persepolis. So I got one graphic novel. This one looks pretty neat. I've got that one. Then I got A Brief History of the United States. And this is not actually a history book. It's actually a book of historical tales retold. Then I picked up The Science of Mind. This is just about thinking. So I thought that would be fascinating considering the field that I'm in. And then the last three I have here. So I've got Everything Bad is Good for You. So this is all about how pop culture and video games and phones are actually beneficial. I thought that was counterintuitive and interesting. This dishwasher. This is one man's quest to wash dishes in all 50 states. And I thought that would be kind of quirky. I like interesting stories that people do. And then my final one I got was Paris Was Ours. And this just seems romantic, how people are just writing about their experience in Paris. So that's my haul, and I just had fun at the book sale. I could go into it and go on and on, but I'm gonna give it back to Kim.
So you spent $10?
Yes.
You got 10 books?
10 books, $10.
Okay, so I actually, let me see this one. I have from Goodwill, you guys have seen, if you're on my channel, you've seen that I already have the other book that this guy wrote. This is the one that Wicked clearly was based on, but there's another one as well, and I have that one. So that's kind of interesting. So now we have both of
books.
these. Yep. So, all right. So now my turn. I'm gonna try to go quick. So I didn't stick to my $10. I spent $13. I got 3 more books than I intended. Okay. So Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. I have heard people talk about this one on Book Talk and BookTube. I mean, because I don't do Book Talk too much. But it's also an original Netflix series. So I got that one. The Girl He Used to Know by Tracy Garvis Graves. Now, I don't, you know what I did? I read the backs of these books and I looked at the covers and I thought if they looked interesting, I just went ahead and got them. I got this one just because of the title. Can you all see that? The title is Kim, and this is by Rudyard Kipling, and it is supposed to be, it says, filled with the lyrical, exotic prose and nostalgia for Rudyard Kipling's native India. Kim is widely acknowledged as the author's greatest novel and a key element in his winning the 1907 Nobel Prize in Literature. Now, I mean, I picked it up because it said Kim, but then when I saw lyrical exotic prose, it kind of reminded me of Abraham Verghese, and I was like, and India, that totally reminded me of Abraham Verghese, and I did not know that Rudyard Kipling was a native of India, so grab that one. The Jane Austen Society I have definitely heard of, and so that was the title that jumped out to me. This was probably the first book that I put my hands on. I went ahead and grabbed that. We'll talk more about it when I actually read these. Snow Falling on Cedars.
That was a movie, wasn't it?
Maybe so. A novel by David Gutterson. So I got that. I think I got all paperbacks. This is Between Georgia by Jocelyn Jackson, and I actually had Gods in Alabama on my want to read list on Goodreads. I had put it on there for years ago, and I did have the book. I know I had it, but I believe I unhauled it long ago when I was not so much into reading. I think it was when my son was really little and I just didn't have time. Then I saw this one, Notes on Your Sudden Disappearance, a novel by Allison Espach. I can't really read her last name because it's Espach. Okay. So this was apparently a Barnes and Noble pick whenever it came out. So I grabbed that. It was their monthly pick. Grabbed that. I like the bright colors of the cover. Of course, I love Jodi Picoult. I have read so many. And I hope I didn't read this one.
Somebody's gonna die, right?
Oh, always. It's always picked up from Jodi Picoult. Always starts with something that's current, like current events, but it always takes a turn. So, Wish You Were Here. So I'm excited to try and get started with that one. I plan to read all of them. I don't generally buy books that I'm not gonna read. I don't buy books just to buy books. I really do want to read these, so we'll see how this goes though. I've been seeing Celeste Ng. I thought I read this book, but maybe I did.
I actually looked at that book too. I was gonna pick it up. I've heard of it before. I'm not sure where, but that was one of the books I picked up, put back, and you got it.
I think I read this. Yeah, I did read this in my book club. So this, I'll probably put this in the little free library, but this is a great book. Little Fires Everywhere. We did actually read this one already. So, but yeah, this was a very, very good book, and we read it before Reese picked it. We read it a couple years ago.
Did they make a TV show on that one?
I think they might have. Yeah. I should have found Everything I Never Told You. No, I read this book for sure. Anyway, then I got this book called Olive Kittredge. This is a little of a Pulitzer Prize, and I just grabbed it up. We will see. Yep. And then finally, the last 3 that I got, I just had to get it because it was there. I haven't read it. You've read this, huh? Giovanni's Room?
Yes, I have it, actually,
So I grabbed this, so we already got it. And then I wanted to read this one. It has a blurb on the front from Gwendolyn Brooks.
Jordan read that.
The House on Mango Street.
It was one of his books for class a couple years ago.
And so now I'm going to read it. And then this was just, this will be a fun little quick contemporary romance. It's called Not the Girl You Marry. So you can see this looks like it's going to be about an interracial relationship. And it's got blurbs on it from Talia Hibbert, whose book I'm currently reading. And so I'm excited. Christina Lauren has a blurb on there. These are very popular contemporary romance writers. And I'm excited because most of my books, they look like they were new. They don't look like anybody ever touched them. So those are the books that we got from the sale. And I guess we'll see you in the next clip. Bye.